Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hi, this is Ali and Find Your Joy. Please remember to like and subscribe. And today we have more of the 365 wrestling family. I'm super excited because so we have with us Damon Roth, aka Ramone Carlton, and he has been well, his journey is amazing, and he's going to tell us all about it. I think I'm going to leave it there because you do so many things with 365 that I don't want to pigeonhole you into any one thing. Damon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm so excited too. I've always loved your energy. I love watching you zoom around, and I was gonna say, jack of all trades, master of none. I don't know if that feels like the shoe fits in that. I think you probably
Jack of all
mastered a
trades,
few.
master of none is better than being just a master of one. That's actually the full saying.
Oh, that's right. You're right. It is. Why? Thank you, sir. So I love that. So I'll have to just wait. Okay, now I'm going again. I'm going to talk about, I think if it's okay with you, I'll first talk about because we have something in common. We are both people living with an acquired brain injury, and those don't look the same. They don't come out the same. They don't heal the same. They don't begin the same. And if it's okay, maybe just our listeners tell them a little bit about how it all started with you. We'll start with the brain injury part if that's okay.
Okay. So my brain injury happened at work. I won't get into, the details a lot. I mean, short story is about a 2,000 pound, I've been told, elevator gate bounced off the top of my head. And so yeah, instant concussion, brain injury. I lost about 8 hours where I have no recollection of what happened. I actually came to in a McDonald's drive-through. Very interesting, scary, but yay, military training. There you go. But it's from there. I now have migraines that never go away. They're
Yeah.
always there at a different intensity. Um, I have, I believe, what is called allodynia. My brain has rewired itself because of the constant pain. So I feel the pain either as an itch or I hear it in my head as a buzz.
Yes.
And those never go away. So yeah, but it was really bad at the beginning. I couldn't really do much. I spent a lot of time just staring at a wall. But I was able to get some therapies going, and one of the things that my neurologist said was find something that you used to love to do and do it again. I used to love making videos. So, blah blah blah. There was a pandemic. All of a sudden, my wife is like, the pandemic's done. They're opening up the island. There's wrestling up north in Camber River. Let's go. A little bit of a side. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. You can find me in footage of Stampede Wrestling. I was about 10, front row, a little bit on the left.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
Stampede Wrestling? Like
oh
Gene,
yeah,
is that like Gene Knitsky and all those guys? Is that,
yeah.
oh my,
Oh yeah, my great grandmother was a big wrestling fan. I'm not it's not my stories to tell. I was like, 5 years old, up to 10 years old. And yeah, I used to watch wrestling back then. So I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I love independent wrestling. I love the show. I've been following 365 Pro Wrestling and VIPW Pro Wrestling. I'm saying it twice. VIPW on the island since I moved here in 2014.
wow.
So
Okay.
anyway, so pandemic happened. I got my brain injury. We're looking for something to do. So off we go up island to see 365 on a Canada show. It was great. I talked to the owner who's on here recently, Mike Besher. Can I bring a camera? Maybe do some video. He said, sure, why not? So we came back to the next show, which was mid-July. And while I'm holding a camera, my wife got to see, I believe it was Rhea Von Slasher and Liza Hall wrestle. And at the end of the day, when I'm done holding this camera, she's like, I want to do that and blah, 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 blah. Hi, here we are.
that is such an abbreviation of what actually happened, but I love it because it kind of explains it. So I'm gonna, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna take us back a little bit, just a little bit. We won't spend a lot of time there, but with the brain injury part, when you first get it, and everyone who's listening here knows that I've been living with a brain injury since 2015. Just coming up to my birthday, February 14th, will be my 10-year anniversary of bum bum bum, the day life changed so much. And so those first years, I mean, we say it quick and we say it fast, but they're pretty challenging. So one thing that I really love about chatting with other people that are living with I call it my new brain. That's how I call it. I just call it my new brain because I don't know how else to say it. I sometimes I know the same things I used to know, but it's like one way I describe it is if I was looking for a certain file and I had three large file chests, and someone came and took this file chest and poured them upside down on the floor, then put fans on in the room, and the papers blew everywhere. I just have to go look and find that paper. I actually still have the information. It is just now, because of it being knocked over and a fan being on it, it's in a different location, and it's on me to find
100%.
that file. And
100%.
so,
I'm the same way.
oh,
Mine are in filing cabinets still, but I have no index. I have
ah,
no Dewey Decimal System, so I don't know where anything is. I don't know I know something until some random moment happens. Like, oh yeah, I can do that.
and I don't
I
know
learned how to do
why.
that when I was
I might
10, but
not
blah blah
remember
blah.
when I learned it. I might not remember anything, but it sort of, and I remember at first when it first happened, like I was thinking, I felt stupid. I'd be like, this is like, I don't know anything. I don't, and then all of a sudden I would know it. And I'd be like, how is this even happening? But so anyways, it's interesting that for me, and what it sounds like much like for you, as we found this thing, like I didn't find things and think I am going to start to heal and recover and find a new way of being if I do this. I just needed to desperately cling on to something that was going to let me think of something other than the non-stop buzzing in my head, that if I didn't preoccupy my mind with the buzzing, I would just cry. Well, and vomit. That's fun too. You don't want to leave out the vomiting.
No, no, and I feel you because before the video editing during the pandemic, everything when we were all stuck. Well, for us with our basement apartment,
Yeah.
I went back to model trains. I took
Ah,
over the dining room. My wife, who you all know as Becky Beech, was absolutely amazing that she let me do this, and I created this massive train set. And yeah, that was kind of my first step into
yes.
recovery because I just let my hands do something that they did when I was a kid. And
Oh,
things started coming back, and I had, movies and TV shows I used to enjoy that I know how this movie ends. I know I've seen this movie 15 times, but it's gonna be new for me today.
yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. True story. True story. David and I, this conversation happens quite often. I go, that looks like a really good show, like a commercial or whatever will come on. And he says to me, well, you really liked it last week when we watched it.
Yeah, it's that's happened to me too. It'd be like, oh, we're gonna watch this movie for the first time, and my wife is looking at me going, "We watched this 3 years ago. Hey, get to watch it again."
Yes, well,
I don't know,
it's
have a
just,
clue what happens in this
no,
movie.
I
And
don't.
halfway through, maybe things will start clicking. Oh yeah, I remember what's going to happen here now.
I
Hey, isn't this where? Oh yeah, the airplane just crashed. Would you look at that?
That's right. See, this is exactly what we do. And sometimes if we'll be watching it, we'll watch like a whole series, like a television series every season and everything like that. And then I'll watch it again, and then it'll be halfway through one of the episodes, and I'll go, oh, I remember this. This is the guy that, and he's like, I wish you wouldn't now narrate the whole show. It's just that I'm so excited that I can remember.
Well, it's one of the things I do, like I rewatch shows again. Right now I'm in the middle of Modern Family. Love them, hate them, it
Oh, I
doesn't
love
matter.
that
It was
show.
a
I could watch
period
it. I
time
watch
period.
it 10 times
And
all the way through. Yes.
yeah. And so it's been a while since I've seen this. And I'm remembering, okay, I know something is coming up. I know it's going to be exciting. I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but oh, let me get the popcorn because I know it's happening.
I
And
know.
then it
Oh my.
happens, and it's like it's this weird, crazy thing. It's also kind of funny because it works with wrestling. I do the one of the things I do with wrestling courses, I do the editing, or a lot of the editing. I'm not the only editor, but I do a lot of the editing. And because we're all volunteers that do this, sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes months before a show will get into the queue. Like for me, I'm watching it for the first time. I can be in the show. I have no idea what happened. Not a clue. I'll get halfway through the show, but going, is this the one where I get taught? Oh, it is! Yay! Oh, that means the kendo stick is coming.
Yeah,
But up until this point, I've completely it's there somewhere. I'm not going to say I've
somewhere.
forgotten it, but it's not in that recall that just keeps
Yes,
coming back.
exactly. Exactly. It's so interesting and it's very hard to describe it to someone. I'm glad, like you're saying it, and I don't have to tell you what it feels like to be. I'm remembering, but it's kind of like it hasn't, it's just coming to the top of the hill. It hasn't quite peaked over the summit yet. I know everything in me knows, oh, I'm going to remember something now. And it feels like that. I'm going to remember something now. And I get all excited. It's not scary to me. It doesn't make me sad. It actually makes
Yeah.
me happy. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just, I mean, there was sad times for sure. Um, but these are not part of them. This, none of
Yeah.
this is ever part of it. And for me, mine was I started to paint. I started to do different write books. I did all these things, and a lot of them I'd been doing for years. Of course, writing. I'd been writing poems and stories and songs since I was a little kid, and then now I write books. I don't know, like how did that happen? So okay, so here you are. Like me, you had a choice to curl in a ball and cry. And
Yeah.
that there are days, right? I'm just going to say there are days I have done that. And they may come again. They're much fewer, that's for sure.
100%.
Yeah, there's days when it felt like it's never going to be over. Here's another thing that I found with, and maybe you'll relate to this. My first couple of years after mine was an accident, yours was an incident. My first few years, um, people around me who loved me were afraid, and I was not. So I ended up with in the hospital breaking a toe, breaking a wrist, breaking a leg. They thought I'd punctured my eyeball because I'm falling. I'm leaving the stove on. I'm walking. I'm like just bizarre, just getting stuck on something, looping, they call it the brain injury program. I get on a loop and I couldn't let something go. And oh my gosh, I have the most horrible memory of Cassius was really little, and that's DJ Cash for wrestlers, and being convinced he had done something and I couldn't stop. This is a true story. I was like, I thought he'd played with matches. He hadn't, by the way, and I couldn't stop. And I just kept on and on and on. The kid was in tears. I just couldn't. And about a week later, he was at his baseball tournament, and I found out what he didn't do it. And I wasn't legally allowed to drive. And I got my daughter to come with me, other Jessie Doodle, Rad Sis, who all the fans know, the best fan ever. She came with me, and I drove crying all the way out there to say, I'm really sorry. I was wrong and I didn't let it go. I'm just like, only a person with a brain injury is going to go, yeah, I actually get why you did
Oh
that.
yeah, been there, done that. I mean, you're talking about breaking things. I mean, because when like here's my evolution with the wrestling, and yeah, I'm back to work, part time. That's
That's
great, and I know how
amazing.
much I can do, and back in the same field. I work at a house, and I work with five wonderful individuals, and sometimes I go to other houses, and I work with other wonderful individuals. One of which got to see me in my official debut match. It
Oh,
was kind of awesome. And yeah,
yeah.
so in 365, I started holding a camera, and then it was like, well, okay, can you help us with the sound? And then I was doing sound, and then one day, and I can't even remember why I would have it, but it was a lesson I learned very early on in wrestling, which was and I'm going to say it, it's cheesy as anything, but I'm going to say it. The best kind of ability is availability. Because
Ah,
the line literally was, "Do you have your purple shirt?" Yeah. And the next thing I knew, I had a microphone in my hand and I'm ring announcing. So fast
wow.
forward and all that, out came Ramone Carlton, which is my character, my persona in 365 and other wrestling promotions, um, which allowed me to kind of channel the manic side of what it's like to be living with my head.
Yes,
Um, I
yes.
mean, because I get to bounce around, I get to be the crazy guy, but I get to solve problems and I get to do things. And so there was sound, and then we started doing video and then editing videos and blah, 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 blah. And then, I wound up reffing, which is pretty awesome. And,
Yes.
shout out to senior official Tim Chason and Ref Ronnie for, sharing everything that they know. And so yeah, then wound up managing Lak Siddartha.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm the current manager of Lak Siddartha, and I'm also blah 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 moving a little bit forward because that's not enough. And managing Lak Siddartha, so I got to do some bumps, and as they say, eventually a bug bites you. And 10-year-old Damon in that front row is going, oh boy, I want to be in there. I want to do that. And so I joined the Pro Wrestling Academy. And I I
That's
do
exciting.
probably I haven't really had to pull myself out of any training yet. I have that option if I feel no that's going to endanger me. I'm never going to be, you know, any of our, I'm never going to be an Inferno. I'm never going to be a Maxwell Benson. I'm not the heavy hitters. I'm not the high flyers. I'm a character that comes to the ring and tells a story. Um, and so I started training how to wrestling and then got to have some matches and then been doing more matches. And yeah, so I just had my ninth match last night and against Thelonious Avonius Harlequin, and I blame the mittens. It's always those mittens around here somewhere. I know it. I'm starting to get the smell, Thelonious. And yeah, and so yeah, so that whole you're talking about breaking your leg and stuff. Yeah, why not? You only live once, so you might as well do it.
Well, that's the thing, and you go and you do it. And so what I love about it is so I first I met you. That's how I met you is at Rad Dad, talk about extraordinary people. Well, Ryan is an extraordinary person and Rad Dad poured out of that. But I remember you very clearly from going to his first match when we first went to a match, and it was in James Bay. And this guy in this kind of sparkly purple tux thing comes out, and purple hair, and just absolutely the energy that, honestly, other than Rad Dad and Inferno, oh, and maybe Legacy too. I don't know too many people that I've seen that kind of ping, ping, ping kind of energy just going like nonstop, and just getting things done and captivating, right? he Ramone Carlton is a captivating character. He gets your attention right from the start, even when he's always pointing the attention somewhere else. That's the funny thing. Like, the whole thing that you do is get us to look at other people, but we can't help but be absolutely drawn to you and drawn to um, just the madness and like you said, the manic. But at the same time, there's like I've seen it go where somebody else wasn't having the greatest of days. I've seen you just come in, and I guess it's probably your years as working with people that require supports. You just come in, so you go from being yada da 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 da, and all of a sudden, zoom, you come in and you're totally centered and you're calm and you're helping that situation, and then boom, you're gone again, and it's like, wow, I want to talk to that guy because he's got some stuff going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like being best of both worlds. So I like helping, I like solving problems. And 365 for us, for me, it's a family, and everybody in it is a family. Whether there are diehard fans like Jess sitting there in front row every single show, South Island, she's there, sometimes North Island.
Yes.
We have other fans that are there every show. They're part of our family. There's all the folks backstage and the people that make everything happen. I've done pretty much every one of the positions, so I understand what it's like to be there, but you can't do it with all of them. And being able to come and, I mean, one of my favorite stories is, and this was, oh God, this was so hilarious. So we were in James Bay, and we may have been getting really loud, and we may have been a lot of people, just a lot. And there may not have been a lot of parking. And one of our fans, which turns out it wasn't, but one of our fans may have parked in this lady's driveway, and she was upset. She was at the front door. We have a match underway. She is ranting and raving. She's on the phone with appropriate authorities, and she is beyond. I said, "Well, I'll fix it right now."
And rightfully so,
So,
right? Rightfully so.
oh, absolutely, she's not wrong, and who else would it be? So fine. I zoom over there, completely manic. I do this instant promo with Thelonious Harlequin. No wonder he hates me. Um, and basically, it's like, so it's all this manic, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, with the owner of blah, blah, blah car, please move your car. It's literally about to be towed. And I look around the audience, and and nothing's happened. And then all of a sudden, because the building's gone quiet, just quiet. And then we hear somebody running up from downstairs because there's people downstairs doing pierogi making and stuff, but they can hear us.
Yes.
And they go running up the stairs. You can hear the door slam. At that point in time, I can't remember what I did something absolutely manic, handed the May Black to Thelonious. The crowd is cheering again. I remember you were there. I think you were there.
I remember that. I didn't know the backstory to it, but I remember this.
Yeah. And yeah, so that was just one of those absolutely manic. And then I think later somebody hit me. But anyways, things happen.
Oh my gosh. And that's exactly how it is, right? It's like this never ending things are happening, and you're one of the people that makes sure that stuff goes smoothly when it shouldn't. And of course, the wrestling people got blamed, probably in that, and I get it because it's loud there. The
We're in a bigger venue now.
Yes. Oh, let's talk
Parking's
about that
way better.
venue.
Absolutely. Way better. So much better.
Yeah. Oh no.
Come early.
There's
There's actually a parking lot across the street we're allowed to use. There's like 10 spots in there, but nobody knows it. So anybody coming to our shows that first met, perhaps this Saturday, or maybe not this Saturday, whenever the next show
on
is.
the 8th. On the 8th.
On the 8th, park across the street. There's like parking spots across the street. We're allowed to park there. There's signs and everything.
What is it? What is the place?
It's just a parking lot that we share with the Metropolitan Opera House, I think.
Is it free parking, paid parking?
Oh, free parking. Like, because
I'm going
the
to edit
church
that
that
out
we're
so I'm the
in,
only one who knows.
yeah, the church that we're in, we have like
Yes.
3 or 4 spots, and we have to keep it open for vehicles that
Oh,
may have to come later in the night that we never talk about. So there's not a lot of parking. But there is apparently a parking lot across the street if you come early and get one of those spots.
well, there we go. Okay, I'll leave that on. Oh, I'll do it, even though I'm a bit of a. I'm not a diva except when it comes to parking. I always want to be able to get to my vehicle. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I'm a Ramone Carlton. I always have parking. I just
That's r-
park next to that Osborne guy.
that, that's right. That Osborne guy. He does it. Oh my gosh. So I'm looking here and I'm realizing that you have to go do your day gig
I
really
actually am
soon.
literally running out here today. The day we filmed this, the snowstorm came, and I
Yes.
have to go into work early because snow related. Yeah.
And I was at my day gig and I was like I had everything perfectly timed to get here, and thank you for being so gracious about it that I was 45 minutes late because, or maybe even more so, no, half an hour late, yes, because it was snow. And people who didn't, I have great snow tires. Unfortunately, if those around you do not, you'll still go slower. So, thank you, Damon, Ramone, whoever you are. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing a little bit about, hope for people with brain injuries and other things going on, that there is a great, big, beautiful life waiting.
Find it. I call my brain injury Herman. We have grand adventures together. It is what
That's
it is. I did not want to be a ball. I wanted to do something, so I found something that I absolutely loved and threw myself into it.
That's amazing. Well, I'm glad you did because I'm telling you, it has been a joy for all of us. So thank you to our listeners. Damon, thanks for hanging out with me today. It's been awesome. I think we'll probably I can see us doing more of these in the future. To our
Absolutely,
listeners,
anytime.
okay, that's awesome. To our listeners, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. This is Ali and Find Your Joy. Please do remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.